name is Betty McNerlin, known as Elizabeth McNerlin, and that name's important for whenever we finally finish what I have to say. The reason behind my choice of school for this project lies in my own knowledge of what is unique about Ballykelly Primary School. My first job was in a military barracks, the one which is just across the road from Ballykelly Primary School. And so I came to know the school as a multicultural entity which was highly looked upon in the area, as all of the children from the military families went to Ballykelly Primary School. Throughout the last 30 years I have time and time again come across people who have come back to Ballykelly to live and work, those who attended this school. And when designing the Cultural Connections project, I knew that this school would be the only choice, and I was not proved wrong.
My name is Maria McNulty. I have been teaching here in Ballykelly Primary School for some 30 years. Currently teach P7, and in P7 one of the themes that we would explore is that of identity. The children are encouraged to explore their own sense of who they are and where they fit into a local and a global context. There are certainly elements of this project which we could use to support the world around us strand of the curriculum. The children then could be guided into looking into themselves, researching their family and their community, and seeing themselves in a historical context as well. 1797 or something.
May the 6th.
Yeah, we've got another date up here.
It says 1797.
This project started as an idea because I enjoy researching genealogy, and looking at some of the questions that my own grandchildren were questioning me about family history, I decided that I would go to Ballykelly Primary School and ask them to take part in a little history project. The project, of course, looks at different cultures and not just history. Culture means it could be where you were born, ethnic minority. Who else would come here to work besides Polish people?
Chinese.
Chinese, yes, and we'll look at that in just a minute. They are definitely an ethnic minority.
Jamaican.
Year 7 at Ballykelly is about 63 pupils, and their enthusiasm at finding family names has been wonderful to watch. Their enthusiasm throughout the project is something I have thoroughly enjoyed. 3 or 4 pages in, can you all see? You know what's in? So he's the 44th president, and he considers himself to be African American. Does he look like an African American? Yes, it does, doesn't it? But his ancestors came from a place called Moneygall in County Offaly.
Hello, I'm Gary McGuinness here at Ballykelly Primary School. Children in Ballykelly are socially and culturally aware of their surroundings, and we're a mixed school of both Protestants and Catholics. The lessons actually only made them sort of bond together even more as they became aware of their cultural differences and similarities as they furthered their investigations. One of the things that other schools have identified when they come in and give us feedback from other secondary level education is how our children settle quicker into their new schools. This is probably because of them working together and being aware of each other's culture within the schools.
Start writing, if possible, your name. So page 1 is for yourself, and the extra teddy bears you can cut out if you need extra family members. Is the name English, Scottish, Irish? Well then write down what you found. Talk to maybe Granny and Grandad, who probably know more than maybe Mummy and Daddy. Alright. And now I am going to look at a gravestone that says Elizabeth McNerlin. So that's where I'm going now. Right, who's got the Elizabeth McNerlin? And it's spelled just slightly differently, but it's enough for me to know that she's Elizabeth McNerlin, because it's N-I-R-L-I-N instead of N-E-R-L-I-N. And whenever you were doing all your research on the internet, you found all these different spellings, didn't you? So what did I personally get from the project? Well, on the way back from the graveyard in the middle of the project week, I was talking to 4 boys who told me they were best friends. And I said, well, what schools are you going to in September? What big schools? and the 4 of them were going to 3 different schools of different cultural identities, and they had determined that they would stay best friends for the rest of their lives. Now this is the generation that is the hope for our shared future, and I sincerely hope that the friendship that they gathered up in Ballykelly Primary School stays with them. What else did I get from the project? Well, the little lad with the surname McKeever, who found he had Viking blood in his veins and certainly looked like it. The girls who found something on the internet that belonged to their grandfather. The little boy who put in his surname and found an entire host of relatives he had not known about. And the absolute joy of working with 63 children and the exuberance that they showed. And in the final bit, the grave that they showed me that had my surname on it, and they said, "Miss, you died in 1710. Thank you very much, Ballykelly Primary School.
When I went home on Monday night, I rang my dad and he said that his granny was my great great granny, and her Caitlin Askin's great great granny is my great great granny as well.
I'm Larry McCollum, and when we were looking on the internet for information about our family, I found out that my family was from Scotland and that our Gaelic name was McLaughlin. Sounds a bit like McCollum, and that my family crest had a wolf holding a, I think it was a wolf holding a sword, and I found that all on the House of Names.
When I went home on Monday night, I told my mum what I was doing, and she told me a lot about my great-granddads and how they were in the First World War.
I'm Ian Lafferty, and I have a relative who's Janet Lafferty, and she was an American actress on television.
I'm David Nolan, and in school we searched up our ancestors, and I searched up Nolan on Google, and we found out that my name means champion or a chariot fighter.
Come on,